I think we are live now. GMGM guys, hope everyone is doing great. I'm Ash and I work as a DevRel engineer at Avail Labs. With me today, I have Robin from the Avail team who is going to present a workshop on Avail Nexus. He'll show us how easy it is for us to access cross-chain liquidity across multiple ecosystems into Avalanche D apps. And if you're building, let's say, a DEX or some swapping application or something like that, something that requires maybe pulling assets from other chains, this workshop is going to be very useful for you. And he's going to show you exactly how you can integrate Avail Nexus into your application. Over to you, Robin. Just one quick thing. If you guys have any questions during the workshop, please feel free to post them into the tweet, and we can take questions from there at the end of the workshop. Over to you, man.
Well, hello everyone. Glad to be here and to essentially be able to speak to all of you and talk about how you can access multi-chain liquidity inside your app, um, basically within a single click. Uh, this essentially is a paradigm shift. What we are proposing here is like a paradigm shift to how you think of applications or Web3 applications today, right? Basically, we allow you to build once and scale everywhere. So, I mean, before I start talking about all of these things, I would like to maybe introduce myself. I'm a developer relations at Avail. You can find my X on the slide, Robin underscore RTX. But as I was preparing for this session, um, and as I was taking some time off, I was doing you know a bit of trading, right? So this was me last night, just minding my own business and trying to just wipe code, maybe even do some trades here and there. And as I was using an app, I wanted to deposit some liquidity so that I can actually do some trades. Like this was like a pub dex, which I had, and I didn't have any. Like I wanted to add more capital, and in order to deposit my USDC onto this app, I saw that I could only put in my money from Arbitrum, right? I could only deposit USDC from Arbitrum. And as you can see in this image, I had like what, zero? Like I had zero Arbitrum USDC. And that really creates a friction point for me, right? Because I know I have got USDC on other chains, just not on Arbitrum. So now I have to, well, go figure out where I've got my funds on, and then go to a bridging platform, bridge enough liquidity to Arbitrum, and then if that's not enough liquidity, then I have to maybe bridge it from somewhere else again, and then go back to this app and finally deposit it, right? So obviously this is me frustrated now because now I have to bridge, and that's I mean, although we've done a lot of work and we've done a lot of great work on bridging experiences and UI and UX, it is still a cumbersome procedure to be actually doing this bridging, right? When I just want to use an app. But wait, I have an idea. I think I just need Avail Nexus. And this is my shameless plug where I start to talk about Avail Nexus, right? And voila, when I did basically enable Nexus on this app, you can suddenly see two things happen. Like now I'm no longer limited by, Arbitrum, like, or any chain for that matter. I can deposit USDC from everywhere. And as you can also see that my max amount is no longer zero, like which it was on Arbitrum. It's pulling, like it's basically showing me how much liquidity I have across multiple chains, and it's showing me my maximum usable amount is of 10.2 USDC in this case, right? So, and that means like, okay, great, I can actually access liquidity from wherever I want into this app that I want to deposit to. So let's imagine this app was on Avalanche. This is how it would look like, where I would enter the amount that I want to kind of deposit, and then I would basically source that liquidity. As you can see here, I'm sourcing liquidity from 4 different chains, from Scroll, Base, OP mainnet, so on, and it's all going in to Avalanche, right? And it goes into the app wherever it is. It goes into the app wherever I'm using Nexus on. And there's always a small fees that's taken up by solvers, because basically what I'm doing here is creating an intent, and this intent basically covers where all my sources are from, what the fees are going to look like, and if there is it basically simulates everything for you in a nice packaged way. And I can just confirm this intent, and basically the solvers take a slight fee, and whatever you want, like whatever amount of funds that you want to actually send, gets sent over to the chain that you want and is deposited directly into the app, right? So the lesson here is, well, don't be a noob. Don't bridge multiple times from chain A to chain B when you can use Avail Nexus. Um, well, that was a very good shell. I hope it was a very good shell, but it kind of shows you what the everyday life of a degen or an avid user of the Web3 world, or even a general noob or normie user would expect from a Web3, or not a Web3 application, from any application, right? It's a very it's very poor UX to expect someone to go off platform and do some certain set of actions, and then come back to your app to be able to use your app, right? And that's something that what we're trying to solve for. So one thing is apparent here, right? Like every chain, including Avalanche, every app, the app that you're building wants liquidity. And how does one usually gain access to it? Well, let's step back, right? And step back and think of it from first principles and like from primitives, right? So from a chain perspective, when you're building a chain and you want to get liquidity, you build a native bridge. So this is usually a state verified lock and mint bridge from one chain with liquidity, right? So there's usually, like, if you, for example, on rollups, what happens is you've got like an Ethereum to a L2 bridge that is native. It takes time. There's a lot of latency involved, but it is usually the most secure way that you would probably bridge some liquidity over, right? So this is the first step, right? But obviously now people want to take away latency, right? They don't want to worry about block times and confirmation times and all of that nonsense. They just want to get the funds as soon as possible, and so we start doing liquidity bridges. Basically, we want to user on board, and we want to abstract away the native bridge complexities to users who have decided to use your chain and don't have to deal with it, right? So we have liquidity bridges. We try to instantly provide liquidity on the other end as well. So this kind of comes up the next step to solve that first problem that we have of accessing liquidity. And then finally, as we have all these multiple different chains, multiple different ecosystems, we abstract the chain related complexities to users, right? So like now as an app, you don't want to worry about where this liquidity is coming from. You want to basically like just make sure when a user wants to use it, they're able to just bridge and use your app. And this is where solver based user onboarding happens. And all these are big steps, right? So like you can see here, uh, like you've got your wormholes, your you've got your pure liquidity bridges, you've got your across particle network. There are multiple different players in the space, and they're all solving for different parts of the stack. Well, introducing Avail Nexus, right? So what does Nexus kind of add to this? Well, we kind of streamline your process from this to this. Like it's a one-stop problem-solving machine, right? Now, as a dev, it is easy for you to get liquidity from any chain, anywhere. You just plug in Nexus into your front end of the app, and we take care of everything else, right? It's a one-step solution that you can just integrate. Um, so basically, you integrate your app with Nexus, and you instantly get access to liquidity from all these different chains and more. That's not on this graphic right now. So Optimism, Avalanche, Linear, Scroll, Base, Polygon, Ethereum, Arbitrum, and more, right? So this is something cool that we enable. So one of the questions you might also ask right now is Nexus just a bridge? Is that what you're saying? Well, that's cool, right? Well, no, Nexus is not a bridge. Bridges, well, more or less suck. But let me show you. Let me try to explain what I mean. I don't mean bridges suck actually, but like the experience can be better, right? So in a traditional bridge, what you do is you do one is to one actions. That is, if you want to send your funds from chain A to chain B, you do that transaction, and that's a one is to one action that's happening there, right? And that means if you have funds across multiple different chains, so n different chains, and you want to send funds to a particular chain, right? So if you want to bridge liquidity from Base or Polygon or Optimism to Avalanche, you have to do each individual bridging action. But what Avail Nexus enables you as an app developer is Avail Nexus is an interoperability toolkit, so that allows you to build anywhere. So you can build on Avalanche, but still get liquidity from everywhere. So this is how it kind of looks like. So when a user interacts with your app, that is the smart contract part of your app here. What you enable or what Nexus enables is N is to one actions. That means we source liquidity from N different chains to your chain. And also, it's not just bridging that we do. We allow you to execute any smart contract on your chain. That means also your app, right? So like you can execute your DApp functions directly using the Nexus SDK, and that's a powerful feature because now you are able to pull in liquidity from everywhere, anywhere that the user has liquidity on, and still, you know, do the functionality, like maintain the functionality of your app without having to change the back end of it. Everything I'm talking about Nexus here is front end only. So all you have to do is integrate Nexus onto the front end of your app, and we ensure we abstract everything else for you away, such that the user does not have to know where their funds are on. The developer does not have to care about managing uh, you know uh, multiple different instances of an app. They can just build that app and be done with it, right? And this also brings me to my next point, right? So Avalanche right now, according to DeFi Llama, last I checked a few days ago, has a TVL of DeFi TVL of $2.2 billion, which is a big amount. And that is so as a builder on Avalanche right now, your total addressable market and liquidity for your app without Nexus is the $2.2 billion. But the rest of Web3 is $163.15 billion of liquidity locked. Uh, right? That's active liquidity across multiple different chains, across multiple different ecosystems. And as an app developer, you would ideally want to get access to all of that liquidity. And the best way to do that is with Nexus, wherein as soon as you integrate with Nexus, you basically get access to liquidity from across the entire Web3 ecosystem. And so, yeah, I mean, you basically turn your total addressable market to the rest of Web3. So that's all great, and this is some of the benefits that I'm getting from using this, right? So like no more multi-chain deployments and monitoring your app across multiple chains. You get a one-click seamless UI experience for your users, even if they have funds fragmented across ecosystems, and you abstract away the concept of chains from users, which is really powerful, right? So like, for example, Uniswap over here, as you can see, so has multiple different deployments across multiple different chains, and I mean this is great, but still kind of fragments a lot of liquidity. It fragments a lot of the user experience, and this is true for not only Uniswap, it's true for multiple different apps out there, right? What if we can change how Web3 you know um, functions today? That's the kind of question that we're trying to answer today. So let's talk about the Nexus SDK itself. We kind of basically provide four different major features or functionalities within the SDK. As a developer, this was what you would be more interested in, right? So the first one is basically bridge, and this essentially allows you to just once you initialize the Nexus SDK on your app, on your app's front end, you are able to now call the SDK.bridge, where you just have to mention your token that you want to bridge, the amount, and the destination chain ID. Notice that you don't have to mention what the source chain should be, because Nexus takes care of that. It finds where liquidity is using what we call as unified balances. We unify or aggregate balances across multiple different ecosystems, and we have this unified balance through which we will source liquidity and bridge it for the user from wherever it is to the chain ID or the destination chain that you, as the developer or the user, decides to put, right? And you can also simulate all of this, right? Like you can simulate to preview costs, what the sources are, etc., so that you can neatly present it on your front end to let the user know how it is. Um, and then what we have is what you call transfer. And transfer is, again, a pretty simple concept. It is essentially basically a similar concept where you can call SDK to transfer, and you basically mention the token name, the amount, the destination chain ID. And what's different here is you can now also put in the recipient or the destination address on the destination chain. So if I want to send zero point 0.1 ETH on chain ID 1, that is Ethereum, to the recipient of 0xy, whatever the recipient you want to do, you want to send your funds to, you can do that quite easily, right? And Nexus takes care of that for you. You don't have to manually do the transfer yourself. So yeah, again, you can simulate all of this on your app. And so yeah, you can simulate it on your app, and then we can do it as well. Then we have this superpower that we call bridge and execute. What this means is that you can basically bridge funds from, again, like I said, wherever. Like if you don't have enough liquidity, we bridge funds from wherever it is and execute a particular, like any smart contract function that you basically put in. So what you can see, as you can see in the parameters here, you define what the token is, the amount, and the chain ID to which you want to bridge. And then you also mention the execute. Basically, there's an execute object there where you mention your contract address, which you want to call, the contract ABI, and the function name that you want to call, and the function parameters that you want to input to basically call that function on the contract, right? And what Nexus will do is it would now bridge the liquidity from wherever it is and then execute the contract function, as you can see here. And I'll go through this in a demo soon, showcasing how this would be done. But I mean, this is this is like a simple way to show you that. And then finally, one of our most latest features that we brought into this Nexus SDK is, again, what we call as cross-chain swaps, or XCS swap. So there are two types of swaps that we can kind of do here. One is you specify from which chain and which token you want to take this liquidity from, and to which chain do you want to get the output at. So basically, if you want to swap maybe USDC on Base to maybe AVAX on Avalanche, you can mention that. You can basically define that in the exact in, exact out swap, and Nexus will take care of that for you. But also, if you just want to do an exact out swap, so say you don't care whether liquidity or what the source token is going to be, you just care that you want to get exactly, maybe for example, one ETH or like one AVAX token on the chain that you want, the destination chain, which is Avalanche. you can just mention that the two amount, the two chain ID, and the two token address, and Nexus takes care of the liquidity part, and then swaps, whatever token that is required, and enables it for you on the other side, right? So, and that's what we kind of do. So we basically allow you to do bridge, transfer, bridge and execute, and cross chain swaps. And this is like the powerhouse that Avail Nexus kind of allows you to have. It's an interoperability toolkit which you can like instantly use in your apps. So all of these code snippets that I'm showing you right now is part of our headless or core SDK, the Nexus core. But and this means that you would probably need to have your own custom UI, right? But what if as an app dev you don't really want to even care about or worry about building out your app, like integrating Nexus, but not really want to care about creating a custom UI for all of this, for all these cross chain things that we're showing you. Does not matter, because we've also got you, we built out for you ready to use UI widgets like React components, which you can just drop into your app and it will just work, right? As you can see here, like this, you can kind of put in the amount, you can bridge, you can transfer, you can see all the transaction details, you can see how the transaction is going through over time, like the entire life cycle. You can view it on an explorer, all of the graphics. It's all done for you. Like you don't have to worry about any of these things at all, like if you use the widgets. So we also have that, if you were wondering. So with all of that said, right, like what can I build with Nexus? What can I build with Avail Nexus, right? Um, so you can build a bunch of things that requires like anything that uses liquidity, you can use that to build. Um, so this includes like cross-chain swaps, which we already support. But if you wanna maybe add like LP, if you add LP like liquidity, provide liquidity on different dexes, you can do that across, like by sourcing liquidity from multiple chains. You can build out yield aggregators, maybe universal deposits for like lending protocols like Aave, Euler, Morpho, or like any other lending protocol that you're building out. Even like pool ticket, which is like a no loss lottery system where you can like buy tokens or buy tickets as well using cross-chain liquidity. You can deposit directly into apps like perp dexes like Hyperliquid or Aster, or anything like Trader Joe, for example, directly into your app, right? You can build out tipping clients for social media apps like games, for example, that require a lot of liquidity. Payments and stable coins, liquidity consolidators. Suppose you're building an OTC desk, a software for OTC, over the counter trades, and you want to manage your liquidity, consolidate your liquidity from multiple different chains. You can use Nexus for that, and that's where we kind of get really powerful, right? So before we yeah, so let's maybe look at a demo, but before that, if do we have any questions on board so far, or? All right, so I think there's no questions so far, so that's fine. So I'm gonna really quickly, switch over to my code editor, and we'll like really quickly see how all of this works, like via code. So yeah, so I'm just going to, oops. Right, and now I can share my screen. All right, so I think I am sharing my screen. Hopefully that it is working. Okay, so We are good. Or we're not good. Can we get my screen on stage? We might be having a small technical difficulty, but that is fine. And yes, finally we have our screen. All right, so now we should be good, if I'm not wrong. Yep, okay, cool. So as I was talking, yeah, as I was saying, like, so here's a demo, right? Or here's a quick demo on what we have, um, how we can use Nexus today, like as a demo app just for developers to kind of figure it out, like to understand how all of this works. So as you can see here, all of the features that I've talked about already is kind of encompassed within this demo app, as you can see here. So I've connected my wallet, I've initialized the Nexus SDK. Now I can like view my unified balance. So what the powerful part of unified balance is that I can view my balance of tokens across multiple chains, across multiple tokens. So for example, I've got USDC currently across Base, Arbitrum, OP Mainnet, and Avalanche C chain as well. Got some ETH across these multiple different chains. I've got USDT across Arbitrum. I've got some AVAX tokens, and so on, right? But basically, as you can see here, the powerful part of this is that all of this is coming from one single SDK call, where we call actually, if I go to the code here, let me actually get uni. Oh, yeah, let's go here. Beautiful. So as you can see here, what we're doing is in this demo, we're calling something called as get unified balances from this SDK. And by doing that, we get back what we call as balance. And with that balance, we are able to kind of, uh, kind of show it into the front end what we actually want. So when I click on this view unified balance button that you can see here, it basically renders a component or a modal that kind of calls SDK dot get unified balances, and it renders all of these token balances for me. I'm not sure if I can show you. Yeah, wait, let me try to. Yes, here. So as you can see here, the entire object is logged out for me here, and you can see that I can get all of this information from this object here. I can see that my balance. This is my USDC balance. So I've got 7.00613. This is my ETH balance, as you can see here. I can get the breakdown from across what chains I have, the balance in its fiat value, the token logo as well. So, like for example, for Ethereum, the token logo I can get it from here. Like I don't have to fetch it from somewhere else. All of this is available within the SDK call itself. Even for the chains as well, like for the chain logos as well, the chain names, everything, the chain ID, everything is available within the single call, and that's really powerful as a developer for you, right? Up next, what we can also kind of do is within this app we can also kind of bridge your tokens, right? So like, what if I want to bridge tokens, so I'll to another chain, like I mentioned, we just have to choose what a destination token is, what a destination chain is. The source chain will be picked depending on where it is. Like, so like for example, let's take Avalanche here. So I'm going to pick Avalanche. I'm going to pick USDC. So I want to, my destination chain and chain is going to be Avalanche. I'm going to be bridging over USDC. As you can see here, I've got a total USDC of 7.00613, 113, and USDC on Base, Arbitrum, OP Mainnet, and Avalanche. I've got around 6.8 or 6.9 USDC on these other chains, and very small amount on Avalanche. That doesn't, like, if I want to use an app on Avalanche right now, which I can only use 0.1, but with Nexus I can now use my entire $7. Let's say if I want to do like $5, right? So what happens here is, let me go and inspect elements. I'm going to go to console. You can see a really interesting thing. We've kind of created an intent here. Let's see, I don't know if it's being printed out. uh, okay, yeah, wait, yeah, I mean, that's fine. So you can see it over here. It's not logged on the console yet, but you can see it here. What our widget is doing here right now is it simulates this action of, wanting 5 USDC on Avalanche. It shows me how much fees, an estimation time, but also shows me the sources from where it is coming from. And if I'm okay with this, I can go ahead and approve and continue. I'll have to maybe I'll set some allowances, but that is fine. So like I can approve, I can approve my balances across these chains. I can go ahead and confirm all of that and be done with it. So I'm just confirming my allowances so that my contracts can use it, and then it'll start bridging over. So I mean, I'm not going to start bridging right now because I'm going to show something else really cool. So I'm going to cancel this for now, which is fine. Do not worry about it. I'm going to cancel this because I want to kind of actually do something really cool soon later after going through some of these features. So let's just make sure we have our unified balance still on these chains. Yes, we do. That's fine. Okay, so we've got transfer token as well. So I can do USDC, all of these things, as expected. You would put in your receiver's address, and that's all. And then we got swap tokens, where I can put in, what I want as my source token, on what chain I want it on, like from where to where. Maybe Arbitrum, I want to change. I want to buy this meme coin. I can do that, right? And similarly, I can bridge and supply my USDC on Aave. Right now it is configured to Base. What we'll do right now in this demo is we'll be configuring it to deposit, bridge, and execute USDC from everywhere into Avalanche, and then deposit it into what I want to call the Aave Avalanche market. Right now I've got 0.1 deposited because I tried it earlier just to make sure it works. But yeah, I mean, so what we'll be doing right now is we'll be changing all of this to default to Avalanche. So one really cool thing here is, well, let's look at the code real quick. So in the bridge button, right, like right now I have what we have as this bridge button. But if you actually see, I can pre-fill certain things. So let's actually go here. I'm going to just copy this. I'm going to go here, and hopefully I can, oh wait, let me just do that. Okay, so let me actually go to the docs and Avail Nexus, so I can show you exactly how to navigate the docs as well. So I can get started. I can initialize my SDK such as this, or the React components such as this. We don't have to really care about all of that right now. What I want to actually go for is I'm going to go to the widgets part, and I want to make sure I have a pre-filled version, right? Okay, so yeah, so what we have is I can pre-fill things onto the bridge button here. So okay, let's make that a little bit pretty. Okay. Yep. Or actually, yeah. Oh, oops. Okay. Yeah. So what you see here is what I've done right now is I have pre-filled on the bridge button a chain ID of 137. Well, let's actually change that to the Avalanche chain ID actually. So let's actually go ahead and call supported chains. Where did we go? Yeah, supported chains dot Avalanche. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, yeah, it basically picks up the Avalanche chain ID for me, and then the token I'm going to keep it as USDC and amount 100. What you're going to see right now is pretty cool. If you are going to be using um, the the um, the prefill, is once I save this, yeah, okay, right now I've pre-filled it to use 100 USDC, which I don't have clearly, so it tells me that I don't have enough USDC across all of my chains, which is fine. I can change this pre-fill amount to maybe one. Let's close this. Let's save that and now open this. Yeah, perfect. So now what it does is it's pre-filled. So as a developer, if I just want to make sure I have a custom flow which is very limited for the user, abstracts away all of the complexities, I want to pre-fill everything for the user, I can do that. I can choose, like, one USDC on Avalanche, uh, and just, the user just has to start transaction. I can do that if I want, or if I want to maybe allow the user to define their amount, I can do that as well. So when I open this bridge, now what I've done is I've removed the amount part of this parameter here. So now I can put in whatever amount I want, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is, and it simulates that transaction for me. Let's even, forget about this. Let's see, AVAX would probably be, yeah, I have to, yeah, maybe USDT will work here. Yes. So, I mean, if I want USDT, I can do that as well on Avalanche. So, I mean, yeah, this is exactly what you can kind of do. And yeah, I mean, this is really cool. Yeah, so let's actually now, we can do similar stuff for transfer as well, right? Like, so if I can go here, I can go ahead and do a pre-fill. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to be like, perfect. And I can maybe even put in a recipient. So if I want to only send USDC to this particular address that I have, I can do that. So what I'll show you right now is, boom, as you can see here, I have my address that is locked here. So I can only transfer to this address, whereas my amount is not pre-filled, so I can edit it. But if I want to, maybe put in the amount, I can do that as well. And you can see that I can now send 1 USD to Avalanche to this particular address. So, I mean, it's all customizable. Basically, this is what you call, what I'm showing you right now is the Nexus widgets, which you can use easily. All right. And then finally, I guess the main show here is the bridge and execute, right? Which is where we will actually showcase how powerful Nexus can be in your app, right? So if you are an app developer, you will be interested and very excited about this. So in the bridge and execute button, which is what we have here, right? I'm going to be changing basically this button, both of these. This one works on Arbitrum, right? This one works on Base. Doesn't matter. Well, let's change this one. Um, so what I'm going to do is this bridge and execute button is already configured to call in a contract address. Right now, it's the base Aave market pool address. It's already configured with an ABI that allows you to supply liquidity into the base market. The function name is defined here. The function parameters are all defined here, and it's all pre-filled here, right? So from what we've learned already today, we can change this pre-fill, right? Like we can change what this value is going to look like. So I'm going to do Avalanche here. I'm going to keep this as USDC. I'm fine with that. But let's actually go and pick out the contract address of our V3 on Avalanche. I can see the pool address is this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly copy this. I'm going to paste that. Bada bing, bada boom. And we should be ready if I haven't missed anything really obvious. Contract address, ABI, function supply. I think we should be good. We'll see, right? We'll see if that works or does not work. Okay. So it works now. As you can see here, USDT and Avalanche is selected by default. All I want to do is, I can define like how much I want to send. I've got 7 USDC across different chains. Let's actually even go to Aave. As you can see here, only 0.1 USDC is currently deployed or like supplied on the Avalanche market. So what I'll do here is now let's probably put in 5 USDC, right? Let's do 5 USDC. Let's put that in. So what's happening right now, it is trying to simulate this transaction. As you can see here, it is trying to simulate everything for us. And then you can view the full transaction. As you can see here, now you can see the estimated transaction time, the total fees. This is what it'll take. We're going to supply to this address. As you can see here, that is the address that I have put on here, which I believe is the correct address. Oh, wait, no, it is not. Oops. I put in my own wallet address by mistake. So now we should be good. Good thing I caught that. Otherwise, this would have been a disaster in the sense it would have been it would fail. So let's see again. Okay, I'm just going to confirm one more time. Is this the contract address 794A? Perfect. Okay, now this should be fine. What we're going to do is now we're going to click bridge and stake. We're still in Avalanche. We're going to do 5. It's going to simulate the transaction for me first, make sure it all works well. Okay, great. So once the simulation is done, we can see that now it's going to this, supplying to this address of 79 and ending with 1414 AD, which should be the address that we have here. Perfect. And that means we'll be pulling in liquidity from Base, Arbitrum, and Optimism to supply this 5 USDC. Right. And then we've also got, I think, a small amount of USDC on Avalanche, which will also probably be used. So I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to click start transaction. It's going to create an intent. So I sign this message hash. I'm going to confirm that. As you can see here. So I've got a bridge transaction that's happening. It's collecting the sources. Oops. So looks like something has gone wrong on my end. Let me really quickly check that out. Bridge is undefined. 1 second. Chains token USDC. We have bridge and execute. We have the contract address. All right, let's see. Okay, so it has basically bridged over the funds. Looks like it just failed on executing, so there must have been something wrong with probably what I did here. Maybe did not update us properly. That's fine. Let's try that again. I'm hoping I've put the same correct contract address. Just gonna check that again because I might have screwed up there. That's what probably screwed up. No, looks all right. Did I save it? Well, let's see. Let's see. Let's try that again. Where are we on? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's gonna just do that again. Wait. Looks like there's something wrong with. I think it's probably the contract address or something. Maybe the RPC is failing. Is that the issue? Hmm. Looks like the execute part of it is failing for some reason. Okay, it looks like it's an internal error, which shouldn't be an issue. Let me try that one more time. If it does not work, we will figure it out. Or we'll open up for questions and I'll figure it out later and I'll show you to you. All right, one more time. Okay, great. I think last time, yeah, now it should work. Last time, I think there was some issue with the allowances not working, which kind of failed the execute function, which is fine. But now, as you can see here, the execute is working. So the bridge and execute is working, wherein my USDC is reducing and I'm getting back AUSDT, which is the interest or yield bearing asset of Aave. So I'm going to confirm that transaction and hopefully we will see it go through in a jiffy. Perfect. We can view that transaction here on snowtrace.io. Perfect. All right. We can see that we have all of this happening. We have the AVI USDC. That means if I refresh this page, I am hopefully going to see $5. Yes. So as you can see here, using this Nexus UI, these widgets, I was able to bridge and execute funds into Aave directly from like sourcing liquidity from multiple chains. As you can remember, I initially started off with zero point 0.1 USDT on Avalanche, and I had bridged almost $5 from 3 different chains into Avalanche and then executed the smart contract function of supplying USDC on Aave on the Avalanche market. And as you can imagine, doing that on a normal bridging interface would require 3 different transactions that you would have to do and then go to Aave to kind of execute the transaction. Where if you would have just integrated Nexus, it would have just been a click and execute, right? So that's pretty much that's some of the cooler things that I wanted to show about Nexus here today. And yeah, I mean, that is, I think, what I wanted to showcase today. Not sure if you have got any questions before maybe we wind things up.
Yeah, looks like we don't have any questions as of now. All right, great workshop, Robin. Thanks for this. I mean, fragmented liquidity is definitely a big problem for devs in crypto, and I'm sure this is going to be very useful for developers who are building financial applications on Avalanche. Like you just showed how you can just bring $5 and then just deposit it into Aave. That's pretty insane. And everything is deployed on mainnet, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
everything I did was on mainnet, so like that's why I was just worried about like making sure the contract error was correct because
yeah,
otherwise it will resulted in actual loss of funds. So
yeah,
yeah, just yeah. So yeah, I mean everything was done on mainnet. I test and prod,
yeah.
as you call that.
All right, so we were
So yeah,
so we were playing with real money here. All right.
yeah,
Right. So if you guys have like any more questions, please feel free to tag Robin from Avail team, or you can also tag me, and we'll get your issues resolved in no time. And happy building. Thanks everyone. Bye guys.
thank you everyone. Bye bye.
Everyone.